I am DM Zone. This is the Gamers Oasis. We're going to do a 10 ped hunt on Arcadia Moon. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me. We're going to talk over one of my sped up 10 ped hunts, or my hunts. Going to talk a little bit about maybe a new redirection of my what I'm trying to do in Entropia Universe. When I originally started this, I talked a lot about it would cost a lot of money to get into crafting, and that it was probably like a sinkhole type of thing that kind of sucks people in because it's glamorous and it's cool and it's something that people want to get into. Literally, one of the pillars of the game is crafting. And I was kind of hesitant to get into it deep, but I still am. I haven't moved fully away from this. I have moved away from my original position, which was maybe a little too rigid, a little bit. But the reason why I've decided that is I want to graduate my character. I've played the game several months now. I looked at my progression for the skills to graduate for a mentorship, and I was at like 3.45%, and that's not much along. And I remembered watching Stevie with PED talk one time about how he had people that were on that he was mentoring, and this person was at like 0.5% at like a year, and he just, I believe he dropped him. And I don't necessarily want that to happen, but also, let's be honest, any day of the week, we could stop showing up and never come back again, and I didn't want that to happen either, where I work 6 months, a year on something, and then my mentor's not logging on anymore, and now I can't complete the mentorship with that mentor. Yeah, I've decided that I'm going to speed this up a little bit, so that my mentor doesn't have to wait for so long for me to graduate, and I don't have to wait so long for me to graduate. I remember right, you get like a free set of armor depending on where you are. It could be the Muska or it could be the Pixie or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I'm spending a lot of time on Arcadia right now, so I probably go to Calypso so I can get the Pixie. I think that's where you get the Pixie at. Though I might check out like Rocktopia, see if you graduate in Rocktopia, what you get from there. That'll be a whole different video exploring what the graduating rewards are for each planet, because I've been told they're different. So I'm going to save that for a different time. But I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about what I'm going to do to speed it up. So I'm not going to go full on into crafting and just craft everything. I think that that's kind of a bad idea. I have talked in this video and in other videos, and some videos I think coming out still, because this video is a little bit out of order, about the fact that I might be switching from from laser to BOP, and I want to do some stuff with melee because it increases your strength. These are all important things, and I think that they have value. The big difference is that I'm dabbling a little bit to get like the free early points that basically come, and I'm not going far into it. And I know there's a loss, and I didn't do this until I had probably the money to lose on this venture. But I wanted to have an increased space. I wanted to be able to get far enough into melee to start looking at buying a melee weapon that requires ammunition, because that's a more eco weapon generally, or to find what would be the cheapest economical weapon I can use, and then go that direction. And the BOP is kind of a secondary thought, because most people go laser because they come from Calypso, and that's good piloting weapons. But if you're going to be a co-pilot or a secondary character in a aircraft, then you need to have BOP, which I think could get me into some gigs um, as crew or co-pilots and that type of stuff. Getting on crew, that will get me into repairing stuff, that type of stuff, I'm sure. Or co-pilot would get me into repairing stuff. It'll also get me maybe into healing. I could potentially see me doing missions where I just follow someone around and heal them, that type of stuff. Give me a little bit of coffee. A cold coffee with ice. Anyways, so these are kind of like things I'm looking at that maybe could be jobs to do. Like you could have like I'm an animal trainer, right? Well, in this case, I would be more of a I heal people while they run around and do stuff. I repair vehicles at certain places, and you know, or I sit in a mothership and sit there with a spool of wire and repair the mothership and get a bunch of skills. So these are all things that I believe I can do, and I just got to get far enough into it that it makes sense. Um, so I was looking at mining, and I was looking at mining certain things, and I have a very easy to do um, recipe. I call it recipe, but it's a blueprint, and that blueprint uses two different types of mining stuff, and it requires very little to do, and it made a lot of sense to me. And I think that that would continue to make a lot of sense. I don't know what kind of stuff that blueprint would make, because when you do blueprints, you then get blueprints from that general area. But I don't really, I don't know if that's the direction I want to go forever. But I might go there long enough to get some engineering skill and get that particular blueprint up, so that when I'm doing mining or when I'm doing my sweating and I'm hunting animals, that I can get um, basic first step components essentially for other blueprint stuff that might sell for more. And from what I've seen, I have one that's really good, and I have one that's about 105%. 105% is better than the 101. I think it's what it is, the TT plus 101. So plus 1%. So that's a good step. And if it gives me skills, that's even better. Probably going to lose some along the way. Probably won't be profitable at the beginning, but maybe as I go into it farther, it would be. But that's going to be blueprint by literal blueprint progression. It's not a forever ever thing. And I spent almost 8 minutes talking about blueprints, but so I'm going to go ahead and get into a specialization that I would like to get into if I'm going to be specializing in anything. In Arcadia, there are two things I see that are needed on the Arcadia planet. I'll say it now because I know that most people won't care or do it. It's a small market, and the ones that do it may not do it for very long because most people don't put in the hard work. So I'm not too scared to say it. I have a very small audience right now. If I get a larger audience, I probably won't be saying these things. So you got a little scoop right now of stuff I'm looking to get into maybe the next 2 months, 3 months. That's a long time for people to get step in that market before me. But there's a real problem in this area with armor and weapons. So I'm looking for not necessarily newer player, but lower tier player armor and weapons that I could step into and start making. So like if I were to get into like the AR-10s, or if I were to get into like be able to make pixie armor or ghost armor or that type of stuff. There's one armor that type before that called settler. I'm not sure anyone wants that. You can basically buy TT and get it for and get better. And the problem you run into is, if I read the material cost right, it's like 20 PED for the TT value. Now, if you're going to buy TT armor anyways, you're going to spend about 20 PED or maybe a little more. I don't think you're going to buy player made armor unless it's adjusted or whatever, versus the TT stuff. It's a lot easier just to get. So I don't know how much of that I'm actually going to be doing. So I'll probably be doing stuff that is armor related starting until I get to the actual armor sets later on that are worth doing. Um, that being plates, enhancers, that type of stuff, like the durability enhancers, that type of stuff. Same thing with weapons. I probably wouldn't be making the super early weapons that no one cares anything about. I'd probably be making whatever I can with the enhancers and that type of stuff. And I've not done enough research to know if this is something that I'm just, well, it's all theory right now. So I don't know if, like how the numbers are going to fall, and I'm probably going to have to adjust this a little bit as I go. I have started to research into the different types of crafted armor, trying to parse the Entropia wiki. There's a lot of information there, so trying to get that down to something I can manage and wrap my head around and that type of stuff is kind of where I am in the process. So I'm in spreadsheet process essentially, and I'll show clips of that in future videos when I kind of get this up and going. Kind of a long-term goal by the end of 2021. I hope to actually have an apartment somewhere where I'm selling stuff at a store. And for a non-depositing player to say that within the first year of them doing it means they're really putting a lot of effort into this, in my opinion, because that's a lot of money. It's far less than some other things in this game, but that will literally be a dedication of what I'm doing. It will cost me to not go out and buy better armor and weapons and whatnot and progress like some other players would, and I'll have to continue to hunt lower level creatures and go back to, I'll be continuing sweating while I own my own store, because I'm not going to be able to keep it supplied unless I have the finances to do this. Now, speaking of finances, no, I'm not going to be doing any sort of deposits. I'm going to hold true on that. I've considered a couple things. One of the things I'm going to do right now is talk about the Milo engineer mission quest on the moon. That will become a staple. I'm going to be doing both the ammo side of things and the all the way up to the hazmat side. Um, the reason why I'm doing the hazmat side of things is because I believe actually that suit can actually sell for more than what the ammo would, and I don't necessarily want to do that like just routinely. But if that's the case, then that might become something I do versus the ammo. The ammo certainly is safer, and I need the ammo, so it makes a lot of sense. But in the future, I don't know if I am. Also, you see me leveling up in this particular video my maze hammer. This is the first 10 PED spent on that maze hammer. The hammer itself is 5 PED, so I had to literally go back and repair my hammer, come back out and do it again. But you can see, based upon my card at the end of this, how many skill points I picked up. I've got a 5 PED one coming up after this, and sorry, my wife's just sending me a text, and that will show you a little bit of a slowdown, and it's to be expected, and I'll probably do at least another 5 PED after that, maybe a 10 PED after that, and you'll probably see a slowdown after that again. But I've picked my strength from my 150 kg carry capacity to I'm over 200 now. So that's pretty big. That's a lot of weight. You carry 70 extra kg at the minimum, and you're starting to really be able to do more. I've been told there's a cap around 315, 314, something of that nature. That's a soft cap that maybe you start get diminishing returns. I'll go basically until I start getting to where that diminishing returns is, and then I'll probably stop for a little bit unless I decide to go melee, and then it'll just happen because I'm melee. Alright, what else I got going on here real quick? Let me take a look at my notes. Oh, so I talked a little bit about healing. I went ahead and got the Vivo S10. If you watched One Crazy Run Through Space, I I now have that. I'm going to be leveling those skills up. Again, this is going to be sort of quick, easy, free skills that will probably raise my sweating skill, my sweating profession up higher, or maybe make it easier to get. It'll also raise my mind force stuff if I ever get into that later, which I probably will. Um, but it's raising up my healing. And I'm going to be doing a video coming up, doing 2 videos, and it's going to be my 2 biggest hunts to date. Look for them at the first of next month, which is going to be May, but the first week of May and the first week of June. That's when those videos should be coming out. I'm going to be doing 15 PED hunts, and they're going to be swunting. So in the first hunt, I'm going to be doing a swunting hunt with no armor, and I'm going to be using the healing FAP to basically keep my life up so I can go back and do this so I don't have a huge amount of downtime. And on the second one, I'm going to be using armor versus the healing FAP to see which one's going to be more economic, and then we'll kind of have a comparison video and a discussion about what my thoughts were of the 2 videos at the end, probably in a shorter 5-10 minute long video sometime in May. I have my theories. I can tell you right now what my thoughts are on swunting. My thoughts on swunting is that it's slow. I'd rather sweat and then pull the mob to guard and have it destroyed versus kill it myself. And that's because I can literally do it while I'm watching TV and I don't have to focus. If I'm actually actively hunting, then I have to loot, and then I have to pay attention to what I'm pulling next. You know, it's a little bit more involved. However, if it's good, right? So I have to look at that too. Maybe I won't do that all the time, but maybe I do that some of the time. But yeah, it takes a long time. That's the biggest thing I don't like about it. I prefer to hunt, or I prefer to sweat. I really don't really like the both together. But we'll see how that works. Anyways, guys, if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments or concerns, what do you think about the direction of picking up some engineering skill with for the mentorship? If you have any thoughts on how I can do it faster than repairing on a mothership, or picking a couple basic blueprints so that I have the ability to do because of the creatures I hunt, or because of the fact that I mine certain things, and then building up those particular blueprints so that I can then get more return on the things, but will also raise my engineering throughout the process. What are your thoughts on those type of things? Let me know in the comments below. If you appreciate or like the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Thank you, and have a great day.